Hi, I'm Leah. We'll be doing some basic Pilates mobility and strengthening and stretching exercises today. So find an area where you have enough room and you're comfortable, and you have a chair for any support if needed, and if you can, a nice open space to do some floor work. Alternatively, we can do some of these exercises seated as well. If you have as well got a cushion on hand or a rolled up towel, that would be great. So to begin with, we're going to talk a lot about our posture. So we're going to stand with our feet together and think about our own posture for a minute. So we're going to turn our toes out to 45 degrees, and then we're going to bring our heels out. So we're standing a nice hip width apart. We're then going to think about bringing our shoulders up, back and round, like we're sliding off a backpack, so they're stacked nicely under our ears there. Okay, so we're standing nice and tall, like we've got a string pulling us up from the base of our head. Okay, then we're going to think about our spinal posture. So we're going to think, if we can, about tucking our tailbone under us and tilting our pelvis. So we're standing nice and tall there, and then we're just going to think about our breathing. So we're going to take our fingers together, our thumbs on our lower two ribs, and we're just going to inhale through our nose and then exhale through our mouth. Now as we inhale, our fingers will drift apart, and then as we exhale, our fingers will drift back together. So we're breathing nice and deeply into our diaphragm. Okay. So now we're going to talk about mobility. So this is to warm up our bodies, get all our muscles and our joints moving, get that blood flowing. Okay, so to begin with, you can use a chair for support if you need to. We're just going to position our body weight into the balls of our feet hip width apart, and we're just going to do some squats and reaches. So we're just going to think about bending the knees and the hips and then bringing the arms forward in a nice smooth dynamic movement. So if you can, bring both arms forwards, and we're just going to swing back and forth. Reach up as far as you can if you're comfortable to, and then come to a nice stop. Okay, we're then going to step slightly wider for this one, and we're going to do some trunk rotation and rotational movement of our upper body. We're going to swing our arms from left to right, bring them slightly higher if you're comfortable to, so you get that nice trunk rotation, and we open up those arms towards the ceiling, and then bring them nice and slowly back down. So you're waking up those spinal muscles. Very good. Then we're going to have our arms by our side, and we're going to do some spinal slides. So we're just going to slide one hand down the side of our body and engage those abdominals. Bring your body to a nice upright position. Good. Slide to the other side, bending the upper body like a straw. So you're keeping the head nicely stacked over the shoulders, sliding down one side of the body, drawing everything back up into that neutral position. Then we're going to go for our chest opener. So we're going to think more about that posture. We're going to bring our arms in front of our body, and then we're going to open up our hands to the ceiling and open up the chest and the shoulders. So continue in one smooth motion, alternating in all directions as you feel comfortable, so you feel that big stretch through the chest and the front of the shoulders. And now we're just going to do our neck movement. So we're going to warm up the top of our neck. We're just going to look to our left, and then we're going to look to our right, and then we're going to look to our left again. And if you're comfortable to, drop your chin to your chest, rolling in a half moon circle to the right side, and once more back again. Nice and slowly with control. Okay, so the first mobility exercise for the spine we're going to do, we're going to get down to our mat nice and safely, using that chair if we need to. We're going to go into a 4-point tabletop position. So make sure your knees are still hip width apart, and we're going to go onto all fours, so we've got a nice long line from our wrists to our shoulders. If this is uncomfortable for your wrists, you can always roll your mat up for extra support, or put your hands into fists. Okay? So from this position, we're going to pull the belly button up to the ceiling, engaging the abdominals, come back through to a nice flat tabletop position, and then extend the tailbone and the head so you get a nice boat shape with the spine extension. Come back to the tabletop position and then raise again, pulling that belly button up to the ceiling. Back to the nice flat tabletop position, and then one more extension through the tailbone and the neck, and then finishing there. If you're going to do a seated alternative, just come to the front of your chair, and we can either bring the arms back, look up to the ceiling, feel that nice spine extension, and then bring the arms forwards and close in, pulling the belly button in slightly. Once more, open up nice and wide, eyes to the ceiling, and then pulling in, closing your upper body like a shell. Okay, we're going to go back down to the mat for our swimming exercise. So this is a nice full body exercise. It can either work your legs or your upper body, and it can work your core as well. So back into our tabletop position, we're going to warm up with just sliding one leg away from us and then drawing back in. So it's just warming up the backs of your legs, extending and bringing those legs back in once more for each side. And we're really working our whole of our body, not just our legs. If you're feeling comfortable, you can then extend and do a lift from there. So it really works our glutes and our hamstrings. And then have a rest when you need to. Make sure you have a water on hand as well. And then we'll do a little bit of upper body. So this is to help our balance, and it's still working our core as well. We're going to extend with one arm up to our ears, and then bring that hand back down to the floor, into that tabletop position, and then extend out with the other arm, and bring that arm back in as well. Good, let's go for two more. Keeping a nice strong core, nice flat back. You can really feel that upper body working. Now if you want to make it a little bit harder and include a bit of balance, you can then extend one arm as you extend the opposite leg. So make sure you go in your own time, and you don't have to lift very high. Just go to where's comfortable. Once you're finished, just do a few wrist circles so you loosen up the wrists. That will really help strengthen them. Okay, we're now going to do the seated version. So for the seated version, we're going to do the same exercise as swimming, but it's called marching. So we're just going to concentrate, first of all, on lifting just the legs. So you're sitting nice and tall from here, and lifting those legs just a little bit, and you can still feel that core working. Now if you feel comfortable, bring those arms out in front of you, and as you lift the left leg, lifting the right arm will help work that core a little bit harder. Now if you're finding that one comfortable, but you want a bit of extra support, you can always have a cushion just behind your back there to support you, okay? And that's very good for the brain as well, because we're working opposite sides of the body at the same time. Okay. Right, now we're going to do our shoulder bridge. This is very good for protecting your back and strengthening your core and working those posterior muscles like our glutes. So we're going to go comfortably down to our mat, and we're going to lie down, and we're just going to bend those knees, feet flat on the floor, and arms by our side for extra support. We're going to tuck our tailbone under us, so we're going to pull our belly button into the floor, and you can feel a nice core engagement from there. From here, we're going to take a nice deep breath in to prepare, relax our shoulders, and push our hips to the ceiling. Clenching our butt cheeks, so we're strengthening those glutes and strengthening that core. We can perform as many of these as we want, and once again, you don't have to push all the way to the ceiling, you just want to push up just a little bit and feel that spine curling off the floor, strengthening those core muscles. Once you're finished, just do a nice full extension from the fingertips to the toes. And take a nice few deep breaths there. Okay, so for our seated alternative, to really engage the core, you're just going to come forwards on the chair, take a rolled up towel or a cushion or a pillow, place it just between the thighs, sitting up nice and tall, but feet flat on the floor, hip width apart, and just gently squeeze that cushion with the legs and release. Now as we do that, concentrate on that nice breathing we were talking about at the beginning. So breathing in and then breathing out as you squeeze, so you're not holding your breath. And you can feel that core really working there. We'll just do a couple more of those. And that's really going to help strengthen your core muscles. So for our last exercise, we'll be doing our spine twist. So for this one, you're going to sit either on the floor or on the chair. I'll show you the floor version in just a minute. And we're going to start with our finger and our thumb together. We're going to think of the spine as one unit. So we're going to tuck our fingers underneath our chin and our thumb just on our sternum, relaxing the shoulders and the elbows. Sitting nice and tall, taking a nice deep breath in, and then as you exhale, we're just going to rotate the body in one direction and inhale to draw that body together. So this is going to help strengthen your core and your core side muscles like your obliques and your spinal muscles. So make sure as you're doing this, you keep those hip bones nicely sat on the chair and you're not leaning too far out. To make it a bit harder, we can bring the arms in front of us. So this is going to work our shoulders and our core a little bit harder. So again, you're going to breathe in, and as you exhale, you're going to rotate in one direction, breathe in, back to the center, into your neutral position, breathe out to the alternative direction, and breathe in. Once again, we can make it a little bit harder. We can bring our arms out to the side, keep those shoulders nice and relaxed, nice and strong, breathe in to prepare, and then exhale, rotate one direction, back to the center, exhale the alternative direction, inhale, back to your neutral position, and once you've finished there, just do a few shoulder rolls. Perfect. Alternatively, if you want to perform this one on the floor, this is very good for you as it will help you get a nice stretch in your legs. You can either have your legs out in front of you, or you can cross your legs, or alternatively just have them slightly out to the side, and you can do exactly the same exercise again. Thinking about those trunk rotations, supporting the upper body, keeping nice and tall, listening to our own breathing. Okay, to finish, we're just going to do some stretching. So to lie back down from here, we're just going to bring one knee into the chest, and you will feel that stretch in your hip, and this is very good for your lower back. If you want to, you can comfortably slide out the other leg away from you, and hold for a good 10 or 15 seconds, breathing nice and lightly, and then we can switch over alternative legs. And just hold that knee as close to you as you feel comfortable, sliding that other leg away so you get a nice stretch in the front of the leg. And then when you're ready to, we can bring both legs in together, and that will help relax our lower back. We're then going to stretch the backs of our legs, our hamstrings. So from here we're going to take one leg and take our hands behind that leg, flex that foot slightly and try to keep it as straight as you can and pull gently towards you till you feel that stretch in the back of your leg there. Once again, you can increase that stretch and slide that leg away from you, and you might get a stretch in the front of the leg here as well. So nice and relaxed with the rest of the body, just holding that leg in place. You feel that stretch in the back of the leg, and then slowly switch over. So we're going to take that other leg up, nice and straight, and if we're comfortable to, sliding that other leg away from you. Just using our hands to support that leg and pull gently towards you. It shouldn't be painful, just do it to where it's comfortable. We're then going to stretch our hip muscles, or our glute muscles, which we used in our shoulder bridge. So we're going to keep our knees bent, feet on the floor, and we're going to cross our shin across our opposing thigh. From here we can gently just push on the inside of the knee joint, and we will feel the stretch down the side of the hip muscle. Breathe gently into that one. And then we'll switch over to the other leg. So once again, you'll rest the shin on the thigh muscle and gently push on the inside of that knee until you feel a stretch in the hip. Okay, to do those two exercises in a seated chair position, we're going to come to the front of our chair as far forward as you can, and we're going to stick one leg out in front of us, place our hands on that bent leg, and make sure you're sat nice and tall because you don't have the floor to support you, and you're just going to bend from the waist so you're still getting that stretch up the back of the leg. Again, you want to hold it for about 10 or 15 seconds, just whatever's most comfortable, and then you're going to come back up to a neutral position and switch over. Sitting nice and tall and focus on the back of that stretch in the back of that leg. Okay, so for our seated hip stretch, we're just going to cross one leg over the other, thigh to shin. We're going to sit tall and gently push on the inside of that knee. To increase that stretch, sit nice and tall and lean slightly forwards. And then to the opposite side, I'm going to take that shin to thigh muscle, hand on the inside of that knee, gently push so you feel that hip stretch, and if you want to increase it, sitting nice and tall and bending from the waist. Okay, and then finishing with a just nice upper body stretch, we're going to take our palms away from each other, reach up to the ceiling, pull the shoulders down, take a nice deep breath in, and then as you breathe out and exhale, just open up the arms as far as you can, and we'll finish there today. So again, take as long as you need. If you prefer to do these exercises seated, do whatever's more comfortable for you. And make sure you have a bottle of water and keep hydrated as you do these exercises. Okay, thank you.